With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, back when they announced this new lineup for the DCU, this brand new entity, the DCU, of course, we've got Superman is coming, Creature Commandos has just finished its first season, and Supergirl, as we talked about yesterday, is now in production with Millie Alcock and Jason Momoa. That movie's shooting as we speak. One of the projects that they announced was that James Mangold, director of Logan, might get an Oscar nomination this year for Best Director for Complete Unknown, which is probably also going to get nominated for Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
Might get Timothée Chalamet his Best Actor award win. He'll definitely be nominated. But James Mangold is going to direct a Swamp Thing movie. Now, we haven't heard really much movement on this Swamp Thing at all in a while. As a matter of fact, they announced this thing in January of 2023. It's been 2 years since they made the announcement. And today, James Mangold, in an interview, has given us a little bit of insight, and it sounds like his Swamp Thing movie may be taking place outside of the DCU, much likened unto Joker or Penguin or something like, or not Penguin, Joker or Batman or something like that. This is what he said. James Mangold said, in relation to like Swamp Thing at DC, it's just a matter of do we find a way on the page to say something original, Mangold told MovieWeb. While I'm sure DC views Swamp Thing as a franchise, I would be viewing it as a very simple, clean, gothic horror movie about this man/monster. I'm just doing my own thing with this, just a standalone. Likening the film onto other popular titles such as Star Wars, the filmmaker added, I'm not that interested in being handcuffed by so much lore at this point that it's almost immovable and you can't please anybody. All right. So there's a couple of thoughts that come to my mind in this. First off is the whole question about, is this Swamp Thing even going to be in the DCU? Because I think there's a game of semantics being played, like the very fact that it's being produced by James Gunn and Peter Safran of DC, that automatically means it's DCU, but it may not take place in the shared cinematic universe.
Right.
Because when James Mangold says, look, I don't want to be connected to anything. I want this to just to be a standalone. I don't want to be handcuffed to other things going on in other movie worlds. I just want to do my own thing. To me, that sounds like this is going to be a great classic standalone Swamp Thing movie, which, listen, I am all for. I am all for this. I am not one of these, I've said this for a lot of years. I am not one of these guys who thinks every single movie should be all interconnected and be part of one big shared story. There was a time not long ago when we would just get great superhero movies that wasn't connected to some shared cinematic universe.
Right.
And if James Mangold, who again may be winning some Oscars this year, his film's definitely going to get nominated for a bunch of Oscars, and who did one of the greatest comic book films of all time, top 3 greatest comic book film of all time, Logan. I'll debate that with anybody, but him saying he just wants to do I love his description, a simple, clean, gothic horror movie. I love that. There's something beautiful about that. So whether or not it's going to be ultimately tied into the DCU cinematic universe or not, we'll have to probably wait and see. To me, it sounds like he's saying it's not. All right. But here's the other thing that stands out to me. And this is a problem with the entire genre, not just DC. He says at the beginning of this interview, let's go back to this for a second. In relation to like Swamp Thing at DC, it's just a matter of do we find a way on the page to say something original? What do you mean? You got to announce that you're doing this film 2 years ago.
Right. That kind of threw me. Like if we can find something.
Maybe if we could find something. Have you been looking?
He's been hanging out with Matt Reeves.
Now, granted, he's got a little film, right? Yeah. Called Complete Unknown that he's going to get some Oscar nomination attention for and all that kind of stuff. Hey, it's not like he's had an empty plate. Okay, I'm not suggesting otherwise. It's not like Matt Reeves. Like, Matt Reeves wasn't busy directing another film while we were waiting for the Batman. So he's been busy, yes, but it was this month. It's been 2 years. 2 years since they announced this movie, and we're still at the place of, it's all about whether we can find the story. Here's a wild idea. Don't fucking announce that you're doing a movie if 2 years later you still don't even know what your story is. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, CookUnity. You ever feel like so much of your day revolves around planning meals or preparing food, especially when you're trying to eat healthier? I know we all do, but that all changes when you discover CookUnity. Now you can enjoy vibrant, chef-crafted meals without spending hours in the kitchen. It's freed up so much of my time and energy to focus on my other goals. CookUnity partners with award-winning chefs, the same chefs you see on TV and those five-star restaurants, to create small batch meals just for you. These meals are made with fresh, local, in-season ingredients delivered right to your door. And here's the best part. They arrive fresh, not frozen, and all it takes is a few minutes to heat them up. I recently tried their Mom's Sunday Sauce Rigatoni, and it was incredible. Plus, knowing that I'm supporting local chefs and sustainable suppliers makes every bite even better. Whether you want variety, convenience, or just better food, CookUnity has it all. Reset your routine with convenient, mouth-watering meals crafted with local ingredients by award-winning chefs. Go to cookunity.com/Campea or enter the code Campea before checkout for 50% off your first week. That's 50% off your first week by using the code Campea or by going to cookunity.com/Campea. And this isn't just a DC thing. We've been struggling with this with Marvel too. It's been 5 years since they announced Blade. So And don't even get me going on Star Wars. I've literally lost count of how many projects were announced and then have just disappeared. I've literally lost count. It is legion. The number is legion. There would be a plethora of projects. I just wonder if maybe, James Gunn has said, we're not going to be making any, release date announcements until we have a completed script. That's great. That is something that the genre and the industry has needed to do for a long time. I think that's a brilliant decision. But here's another one. Hey, Kevin Feige. Hey, Kathleen Kennedy. Hey, James Gunn. Maybe, just maybe, you don't announce a project at all until you have a script. How about that? Or at the very least, how about you don't roll out and announce who's directing a film and who's starring in a film when you don't? Like, you want to say, you know what, we're going to get going on developing a Batman Brave and the Bold movie. Fair enough. But don't go, we're going to be making a Batman Brave and the Bold movie, and we're going to bring on this guy, in this case, Andy Muschietti, to direct the film, and then have no word from it from years, him even saying, I don't know when the film's happening, then finding out James Gunn and him aren't even talking, and one guy is saying, oh, the film's been delayed, and the head of the studio is saying, no, it hasn't been delayed. How about, what did Chris call it? Get your poop in a group?
Yeah, get your poop in a group.
Get your ducks in a row, get your shit together, and then make an announcement. Then tell the world. And again, I'm not trying to come down on either James Mangold or James Gunn. There was a lot of enthusiasm. People wanted announcements when they said James Gunn was taking over the DC. They wanted to get an idea about what the roadmap was. I get it. But I just think between Marvel and Star Wars and now DC, it's becoming a real epidemic of announcing movies when you don't even know yet what the hell your movie is.
Yeah, and we still got to figure out his Star Wars. So he's got a lot of backlog.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of James Mangold,
got a lot of backlog.
They've also announced like a year ago he's doing this Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
That he doesn't have a script for yet. I mean, it at least sounds like he knows what the movie's going to be.
It's going to be in space in this galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, and there's going to be laser swords, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
No, again, James Mangold is one of the best. He's great. I just, this whole pattern of let's make these big announcements when we don't even have anything right now.
Did you guys see the series The series
Swamp
that
Thing
was-
series?
Yeah, I actually like that series. I was kind of disappointed
From the
because of
90s
it.
or what?
No,
No. From like
the most recent one.
like 5-6 years ago
Oh, yes.
during the pandemic.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, the problem with that series was, do you remember what happened?
Mm-mm.
They canceled the series
before it even started.
after the first episode.
Right. Yeah.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was after the first
I believe
episode.
I
so.
believe it was the first.
Like, literally, the first episode came out, and then they canceled the show, and so nobody wanted to watch the rest of the show. People, like, they still aired the rest of the episodes.
Yeah.
It was reported that the show was too expensive.
I mean, and you didn't know that? Like, announce that. That's the thing back then.
Yeah.
I was like, why don't you just announce this after the show finishes its run? Like, you're going to let all the episodes air anyway.
Right. Shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, why would you hamstring this show by announcing that it's been canceled after the premiere episode when you still had, I don't know, what was it, 7 more episodes to come? That was crazy. Like, that was seriously one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in the business. But anyway,
You're right. Shortly after its premiere, DC Universe announced that Swamp Thing had been canceled.
yeah. I mean, just kind of a crazy move.
I still like the show. I still finished it.
I thought it was pretty good. The first episode or two were a little, it's all right, but it got actually pretty good
I
as it
actually
went
thought
on.
he looked super cool in that show. Like,
But
the
I
way-
didn't watch it until like months later.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you cancel the show. I guess there's no point in me watching it, sort of thing. And a lot of people felt that way, I think. And bringing it back to this Swamp Thing here with James Mangold. Listen, I am going to look forward to this. It's James Mangold. I love his description of a clean gothic horror movie. I like that. That sounds good. But you don't even have a script yet? Really? Been 2 years? I know you've been working on other things, but you couldn't have people working. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? 2 separate things, really. Number one, what do you think about the little description of the way James Mangold envisions a Swamp Thing? And does it sound to you like it sounds like it's going to be a standalone outside of the DCU like I do? Also, this pattern of announcing movies and then years passing and them still not having a script. I don't know. I want to propose that they don't make announcements of movies until they got something in hand. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.